Yes, welcome to the Red Zone here at Hicksville High School on Thursday night, last day of November 2017. And we're getting ready for girls basketball on this Thursday evening as the Lady Pirates of Continental have made the trip here to Hicksville to take on the Hicksville Lady Aces. First up, the junior varsity game. And, of course, we'll have coverage of the varsity contest coming up a little bit later here on HIX-TV as well. Hi, everybody. I'm Bill Murphy. Glad to have you alongside. And, I guess I should start off by saying the coverage for the two games that we're going to have for you tonight here on HIX-TV with the varsity and the JV games against Continental. Going to be a little bit different from the usual. The HIX-TV Volunteer Corps has been hit by the illness bug. And so when earlier today, my phone was ringing, and unfortunately, neither Jim nor John they're calling in. So we wish them well, speedy recoveries, and we're going to hope that they're going to both be feeling better, and they'll be able to be back with us in the very near future to resume their work on our basketball coverage. But as a result, right now, I am the Lone Ranger here. It's me, myself, and I. I'm going to be running the camera. So I'm talking with you here to sort of set the stage, and but I'm not going to be able to call the play-by-play and run the camera at the same time. So I'll be talking with you here before the game. I'll try to pop on between quarters at halftime and afterwards as well with a little bit of a wrap-up and keeping you posted on how things are going. But during the actual running of the quarters, it's going to be just the camera and the crowd noise. So apologize for that, but that's the best we can do. I've put out an SOS to a couple more volunteers, but it's kind of last minute. So should somebody show up, we'll keep our fingers crossed, then I will dive in and we'll start up play-by-play at that point. But if not, we'll just sort of recap at the end of each quarter and keep you posted on the scores. So we will have the coverage. We'll have all the action for you tonight, but I won't be calling the play-by-play during the actual course of the game. So first up, the JV squad. And again, they got hammered by Archbold in their home opener last week on Saturday, looking to bounce back. And the girls will get ready to set up center circle and jump to get this ball game started. So I'll step aside, and I'll be back with you at the end of the first quarter right here on HIX-TV. And that's the end of the first quarter with the Aces leading the Pirates by a score of 8-1. And we'll have about a minute break here as we get ready for quarter number 2, and that'll give me some time to say a big thank you to our basketball broadcast underwriters making our coverage of Lady Aces basketball possible here on Hicksville Community Television. Of course, that's the Jim Schmidt family of automotive dealerships in Hicksville, Ohio, both Jim Schmidt Chevrolet Buick and Jim Schmidt Ford, the Jim Schmidt truck lot. And if you're in the market for a vehicle, whether you want one that's brand new, pre-owned, be it a car, truck, van, or SUV, either stop by and check out the great selection they have on the lots, or you can check out the entire dealership inventories online at jimschmidtauto.com. Hicksville.com. Terrific service before, during, and after the sale. Great service departments as well. And again, our thanks to them for making it possible for us to bring you Lady Aces basketball action for the 2017-18 season. They're the ones who make it possible. Our basketball broadcast underwriters, the Jim Schmidt family of automotive dealerships in Hicksville, Ohio. Jim Schmidt Chevrolet Buick, Jim Schmidt Ford, and online at jimschmidtauto.com. And that brings us to halftime of this junior varsity game. The halftime score, it's the Lady Aces leading the Lady Pirates of Continental 10-1 in this junior varsity game. Again, being brought to you kind of an abbreviated version. Bill Murphy here all by himself. Jim Seiler under the weather, and John's out of it. So anyway, we've made it through the first half. Again, a big thank you to the Jim Schmidt family of automotive dealerships in Hicksville, Ohio, for their underwriting support of our broadcast. I'm going to take a break, but stay tuned. We'll be back. We'll have all the exciting second half action coming your way right here on HIX-TV. Welcome back to the Red Zone as we're just about ready to get the second half underway for tonight's junior varsity girls basketball game. And again, if you're just joining us at halftime, our score is the Lady Aces leading the Lady Pirates of Continental in this junior varsity game by a score of 10-1. Again, Bill Murphy with you, not doing play-by-play as usual because, again, we had hit with some illness and people who thought they were going to be here tonight. We were supposed to have a full crew for this evening's game, but like I said, people under the weather. So I'm here doing the best I can all by my lonesome. So talking to you here at halftime, and I'll be running the camera during the third quarter. Well, I'll check back in with you, update, and a thank you to our underwriters between the third and fourth quarters, and I'll be back with you again after the game wraps up. And, of course, so stick around. I'll be doing the same thing for the varsity contest coming up a little later as well. You'll be able to catch that here on HIX-TV in addition to our coverage here of the junior varsity game. So the girls huddling up, and they're going to get ready to take the floor, and our third quarter is going to get underway. And again, at halftime, it's the Lady Aces leading the Lady Pirates of Continental in this junior varsity game 10-1. And the Aces will have the ball to start out the third quarter. And with that, we'll wrap up our third quarter in this junior varsity game with the Aces still hanging on to a lead, but the Continental Pirates battling back 14-9 after 3 quarters of play. As we get ready for the fourth and final quarter of this junior varsity contest, another chance for us to say a big thank you to our basketball broadcast underwriters here on Hicksville Community Television, the Jim Schmidt family of automotive dealerships here in Hicksville, Ohio, not only for girls basketball but boys as well, from the junior high all the way up to the varsity level. Once again, Jim Schmidt is underwriting all of our coverage during the 2017-18 season, making it possible for us to bring you lots of basketball action between now and when the sectionals roll around. And thanks to Jim Schmidt, we'll be able to follow both the Aces and the Lady Aces on down the tournament trail as far as they go as well. We can't thank them enough for their continued support. We hope that you will do the same. Remember, whenever you see Aces basketball action on Hicksville Community Television, it's because of the generous underwriting support of Jim Schmidt Chevrolet Buick, Jim Schmidt Ford, and of course, you can find them online at jimschmidtauto.com. We'll get ready now for the fourth quarter of action in this junior varsity game here on HIX-TV. And so we'll go to the end of regulation, tied at 16. The Pirates getting the ball, but just not being able to get themselves in a position to get a shot off before regulation time expired. So we'll go into overtime in this junior varsity game, our first extra period of the 2017-18 season. And again, it's all tied at 16. A 3-minute overtime is up next. And again, a big thank you to our basketball broadcast underwriters, the Jim Schmidt family of automotive dealerships in Hicksville, Ohio. Jim Schmidt Chevrolet Buick, Jim Schmidt Ford, the Jim Schmidt Truck Lot, and of course online at jimschmidtauto.com. 3-minute overtime coming up in this junior varsity game, tied at 16 between the Continental Lady Pirates and the Lady Aces of Hicksville. first 3 minutes. Aces and the Pirates remain tied at 19. Great shot from Noelle Nuttall from outside the three-point arc to put the Lady Aces right back into the game. So we'll take another quick break here. And we'll head into our second overtime shortly. It's junior varsity girls basketball action here on Hicksville Community Television. Bill Murphy with you. Glad to have you along for the coverage. Hope that you're enjoying this exciting and closely fought contest. And we'll get ready for our second overtime right now here on HIX-TV. And with that free throw, 1/10 of a second, time expires. And that will be the end of the junior varsity game. And after leading it in the first half, the Lady Pirates come out in the second half, and they institute a full court press that really bothered the Lady Aces JV squad. And they battle back to win it in 2 overtimes, 28-21, our final score. And again, since I'm running camera and doing everything else tonight, we don't have any stats for you this evening. But again, the Lady Aces now 0-2 here on their home court early on in the season as they drop a double overtime loss to the Lady Pirates of Continental, 28-21, the final score. It's going to wrap up our junior varsity coverage. A big thank you once again to the Jim Schmidt family of automotive dealerships here in Hicksville, Ohio, for making our coverage possible, underwriting our basketball coverage here on HIX-TV. And, of course, stay tuned and keep your eye on the channel guide, because we'll also be sticking around, or I should say I'll be sticking around, and we'll bring you coverage of the varsity contest coming up here tonight at the Red Zone as well. But with that, we're going to wrap up our junior varsity coverage. Once again, final score, double overtime. Continental beats Hicksville 28-19. And for Hicksville Community Television, I'm Bill Murphy, wishing you good night and good sports.